These days, you're going to be punched. Like a real punch. Like
you did punch me!
No. Like right across the jaw. Hi, everyone!
They pay to see it.
Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. I am Bethany. This is Sparky.
We are promoting violence today between coworkers and
I'm calling HR after this. No, I'm just kidding.
She's sitting right there.
She's sitting, yeah, there she is, right there. This is episode number 86, and I just have to apologize to everybody for having to put up with him for the last couple of weeks without me.
Excellent.
I'm so sorry, and I'm back. It's okay.
I talk fast.
It's all. You do talk fast.
I even told him last week I love it.
All right, so just a reminder, how you can ask questions is on Instagram. You can direct message us, and then sometimes there's prompts where you can ask questions in the IG stories. We want the age of the puppy, and breed or breed mix is preferable. Okay.
And we are trying out the new mics again. This is our third new mic that we're working with, so TikTok, sorry you guys don't have a mic because we can't put 13 mics on.
Yep.
Instagram, you do have a mic on, so let us know if the quality is a little bit better.
Yep. Okay, I have a cough drop in. Sorry if I look weird. Okay.
How annoying.
I know, it is annoying. I was hoping it would be gone by the time this started. Okay, Amber says, Instagram questions. Hello, I have a 16-month-old Shihtzu. He's becoming aggressive in certain situations, specifically when I try to put the collar and leash on. When I need to pull him away from an area, or when he gets something in his mouth, like a piece of a puppy pad. He's supposed to start training a month ago before all this started happening, but I had to push it due to the holidays. Is there a way to fix this behavior? I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Not sure what to do.
So there's one word that I'm going to just mention about. Fixing is, there is no fixing a dog. It's like going to a therapist for a human being like, doctor, fix me.
Unlearn that this happened.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. There's coping mechanisms, and we can give you coping mechanisms, and you definitely still want to get a trainer. If you're doing a positive reinforcement only program, quit it and find a balanced dog trainer in your area to help you.
Yeah. I would say that you've got like a list of things, right? And they're kind of all along the same vein. Mm-hmm. Disrespectful, pushy, things like that. 16-month-old, adolescent, not uncommon. Even if you had kind of an easy puppy, which happens sometimes, and then now, things are getting difficult, you're going to need more rules and boundaries to deal with this adolescent behavior. So I'm going to say relationship is a big part of this. How much freedom does the dog get to move around? How much do you ask of your dog throughout the day? 16-month-old could easily go to place for an hour to 3 hours and hang out in a downstay, on a dog bed, on command. Are you doing some crate patterning? Are you having your dog wait at thresholds? Have you taught a strong drop it with a toy, with food or without food? That's up to you. It kind of depends on the dog whether that works. And how much food foundation do you have as well? Because for me, the first thing that I saw with the leash situation, I can target that really specifically. I would say your dog doesn't want to be controlled. It's quite possible. We see that all the time with a harness, a slip leash. Like, it doesn't even matter what it is. They see the leash and they don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be under control. That's not uncommon. There's nothing wrong with your Shih Tzu. But we do need to reverse the way your dog thinks about that situation. So I would say before you grab the leash, you're going to do a come, sit, food. One piece of food, pause, another piece of food. Then you're going to walk over to where the leashes hang. And you're not even going to grab the leash yet. So we're going to do some desensitizing. Shih Tzu, come, sit, good, food. And you've walked over to where the leashes are. You can kind of touch the leash, good, food. Pick up the leash, put it around your neck, good, food. And then build up enough food drive to get your dog to, if it's a slip leash, we actually teach puppies, this isn't a puppy, but we teach puppies to put their head through it for the piece of food. So it's like a really positive, association. You could do something like that, but it's going to take a lot of food rewards, a lot of repetition, and building up some food drive in order to do that. At the end of the day, though, whether my puppy is into it or not, maybe they're just not hungry that day, they're still going for a walk. So what I would say is don't make the leash just mean you're going for a walk. instead, maybe with the food bowl, your dog gets really excited, just clip the leash on flat collar, feed them their food, and supervised only. Let your Shih Tzu drag around the leash. And then whenever you need to maneuver her, into different areas, you don't grab her, you grab the leash. It's much more guidance-based, much more helpful to the dog. And then when you transition to a harness or another training tool to go for a walk, you've already got the leash on her. So there is no chase down situation. So anyway, that's where I would start.
Yeah, and if you still struggle with that, look up some counter conditioning videos and just literally teach your dog how to wear the leash, get food, take it off, get food, put it on, get food, take it off, get food. I'd say that's probably the next step when the harness starts going on comfortably and you're still getting a little bit of that tense up. But the hardest part is that it takes repetition. You're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of repetitions. You're not doing this for a day, you're doing it for a couple weeks. If your dog is a proper weight, you can even skip a meal or two for a day and then the next morning work on this. Because they're hungry, they want to work for food.
And if your Shih Tzu's already food-driven or treat-driven, you can get rid of this in a few days.
Yep.
You don't even need all the repetitions. You just need to start to associate food with leash if your puppy's already food-driven.
I'd also probably look into slip lead, something that can just easily pop over the head. But again, you have to have a trainer for a slip lead.
Yeah, and especially a Shih Tzu, the big eyes, the short nose.
Big eyes, short nose, and you have to really, really thin cord.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do another long one.
Yeah, do.
All right, Elizabeth says, hi, we have a 7-month-old Stabby Hoon?
Who?
Stabby Hoon. Stabby Hoon.
Stabune.
Stabune.
Yes.
That sounds way better.
Stabune.
I don't know if it's right. We have a 7-month-old Stabune.
Really Google this.
Google Stabune. Okay, who seems to have a lot of trouble concentrating on us? 7-month-olds, even if you've done all of your diligent work, that happens sometimes.
A lot of boundary pushing at that age.
Yep. For example, during his obedience classes, he'd ignore us and go play with another dog, or he'd rather do that. And after a while, he will listen and perform the exercise. If we go anywhere inside that's not our house, he pulls to the point of panting, running around. He'd jump on everyone that gives him any attention. He won't listen to commands. It almost seems like he isn't able to hear or process what we're saying.
He hears it, he just doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Okay, so there's a few things. One is this dog would never be off leash for probably the next year. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's not uncommon with driven adolescent dogs. Because you're right, they will jump on someone. Unless you have a guest over that kind of understands spatial pressure and doesn't mind moving into your dog. You can say no, but they move into your dog whenever they invade their space. Most people don't do that. They kind of back off and kind of half pet awkwardly, or they like it and they reward it, and you're like, oh. So you've got to have that dog on leash. No joke, for the next year. It could be a long leash, if you're at a park or something, but it needs to be on a leash so you can control him. The other thing I would say is we need to find a way to add more value to what you guys have to say. There's a lot of ways to do that. I'd have to know more about you to be able to specifically say. I've got two, and then maybe he can chime in. One is actually stop talking to your dog and stop giving a lot of play-free affection. Affection comes in the form of play, and then actual physical affection, and then also excitement. So play, the term play, all of those things are encompassed in that. You having an excited voice, good boy, and they do this. That's play. Fetch is play. Even if there's a lot of structure to it, and drop it and sit and down and wait, it is still affection for the dog, affection for the brain, and then physical affection. Those things I would stop doing for a while, actually. The play might seem crazy to you. If you are going to do play, make sure it's 15 minutes every other day, and you're doing a lot of control around it, like teaching place, watch the ball, then go get the ball, be able to watch the ball be bounced and not get up before they get to go and get it, things like that. You could drop it with tug, stuff like that. But really pull back on talking to your dog. In fact, if it's a busy household, especially if there's kids, it's like, don't look at your dog, like, oh, he's so cute, and he's so sweet. Don't look at him. Don't have any of that energy towards him. And don't talk to him unless you're giving one clean and clear command. And even then you might want to back off some. I can do a sit with a little bit of leash pressure or a hand gesture. and then give a piece of food. And it's much more transactional and calmer. So that's one way to add some value to him caring about what you have to say, is to stop talking so much for 2 to 4 weeks, see what happens. The other thing I would say is, I kind of already covered this, I'll just go a little bit deeper into it. It kind of goes with the affection, is how much freedom does this dog get in the home? You know, it's a 7-month-old dog, probably fully potty trained, maybe doesn't really chew on stuff, so they kind of do their own thing during the day in the home. I would highly suggest that you add a lot of structure to that. Crating is a great way to build leverage for dogs to want to be like, oh, hi, you're letting me out of crate, what are we going to do now? I'm like, this is what we're going to do. And it builds focus.
You build tasks.
Yep. Crate training is one of them. A couple bouts of crate during the day. Working on place duration or a downstay during the day. Place just means go to your bed, lay down, and stay. It can be on leash next to you. It was like you go here for an hour. A 7-month-old could do longer, but work up, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Hanging out with you a couple times a day, especially if it's the 15-minute, you could do that 3, 4, 5 times a day if you work from home, where the dog is hanging out next to you. And the only thing you're telling them is what not to do, right? You got to teach place first. But then when you do place duration, you're only telling them what not to do, which is to step off place. You're just doing blocking, guiding back, calm.
You're letting them
back,
self-settle in a sense.
Yeah.
The less you give and the more boundary you build.
The less you give, yeah.
Firm boundary, give them less, let them work through it. You're trying to teach. Oh, okay, go ahead. Finish your thing.
Let me just finish my thought. So these are things that are going to build up value in you. Besides food, you can obviously do more food work, and I would definitely add that in as well. Not excitement, food as a transactional payment for a job done. Not like, come, yay, good boy, oh good, oh good, oh good. No. We're talking like watch some trainer videos. Come, sit, good. Pause, food, right? So just make yourself a bit more impactful in the sense of a teacher, a guider, a leader, not a companion. Because you can't, well, I shouldn't say can't. Most
I won't go into that.
Most 7-month-olds can't be companions. Okay, go.
Okay. You have a dog, and I just researched your breed. I spent 5 minutes looking up your breed. Friendly, fun, intelligent, obedient, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. However, they are a sport breed, which means they have high levels. I know, really cool. It's
They're
actually
cool looking.
It's one of the rarest breeds in the world, it says.
See that? How cool is that?
Show TikTok. Yeah.
TikTok. Isn't that a cool
So,
looking dog?
Very cool looking dog. One of the rarest breeds in the world. They say there's actually less than 1,000 of them still alive on the planet. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty rare dog, which means that there's not a lot of information about their personality on forums and chats and things like that. So you're kind of learning by yourself. But what I can tell from reading this is you have a dog that relies on instant gratification. So go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
right?
honestly is most adolescent hunting dog types.
So we're going to put him in that category right now, which means that when I go on walks, I'm not on a walk for my dog to look for playmates. I'm not on a walk to go have conversation with neighbors. I'm on a walk, and every walk is a working walk.
It's about me.
Yeah, it's true. And honestly, with our dogs, she's got older dogs. I got older dogs. We work with younger dogs every day. It's the same for all of them. I don't go out for walks so my dog can look for friends. I don't go out for walks so I can look for friends. My walk is about my dog and teaching them to move away from instant gratification and start building focus, attentiveness,
to follow.
Follower mode. So they're starting to learn how to look to you for everything. So I see a dog walking down the street, and you know what dogs are trained, which dogs aren't. The dogs that are like, woo, pulling at the leash. I'm like, great, bubble. Far around them. And if you can't bubble, go the opposite direction. That's okay. Build up your food drive.
But you should be doing that off of smells. Smell, turn. Another smell, turn.
Look up Let's Go Work. That's a really, really great tool for redirecting away from it. Yeah. But the biggest piece of advice I can give is move away from instant gratification. And anytime your dog is on leash, they're not socializing. They're not saying hi to people. You need probably 6 months to a year of just teaching your dog that you are the most important thing in the world. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to be really hard, but I think you'd also do really well to eliminate affection for a couple weeks. I'd say 2 weeks to start off with. You might be doing so amazing by the end of those 2 weeks that you're like, wow, this is awesome. Let's go another 2. All right, let's go another 2. And then when you finally get to a point to where your dog cares about you, wants to listen to you and does everything she mentioned, you're doing the let's go, or excuse me, the place duration, all of that, and your dog cares about you, start adding percentages of affection back and see what you get out of it. Maybe do a 20-minute training session, and then you sit on the ground with your back to the couch, the dog sits next to you, and do like a deep pressure massage on the neck, real slow, very gentle.
If they can be calm.
Yes,
I know
yes.
a lot of driven 7-month-olds that can't be calm, but if they can be calm, practice that.
You can build your way up to that. And
Yeah.
again, if they can't do that, then in a 20-minute training session, you do a little head scratch or something. You can give it back, but everything is earned. There's no free anything for a dog that's showing disrespect and not paying attention, because you should be the center of their universe.
It's just
that's
value.
built.
We're trying to give you tons of tips to give you as a human value to your dog, which you just don't have right now.
Is this hard?
Yes.
Yes. We aren't giving you an easy solution, because there is no easy solution.
You can walk around with hot dogs for the rest of your life. That might help.
That'll help with me too. I want hot dogs. Kimberly, hot
But
dogs.
that's just not the way we roll. It's just not. But you can do it. Okay, you want to move on?
Yes.
You want to do a short one?
Yes. Okay. Nikki Jurek, 16-week-old corgi puppy.
Jurek, not jerk.
That's what I said, jerk.
Like Jurek.
That's what I just said.
Jerk. You said jerk.
Don't be a jerk.
Jurek. Okay, anyway,
I said
sorry.
Jurek.
Sorry, no, okay. Sorry, Nikki. What's the question?
I think I lose my place of my 13-word question. How do I...
What?
She's very active with us.
Okay.
Okay. How do I start to transition the 1 up, 2 down, and 4 snap schedule?
Wait, 16-week-old corgi puppy. You didn't even say that.
I did say that. I started with that, then you interrupted me.
Sorry.
No, you don't get. You have your own.
I forgot. Okay, how do I start to transition the 1 up?
Basically,
2
what you're saying
down?
is crate is 2 hours, free time
Up.
is 1 hour.
Up.
You're probably on the 1 in 30 right now, or the 1.5 in 30. My personal opinion is I don't think a 16-week-old corgi is ready
Do you
for
want to
one.
explain what that means to
Okay,
the rest
sorry.
of the class?
This is a crate schedule. Nikki's been with us
She's
for a
got
while, so she's
lingo.
heard a lot of stuff.
She's
She's
got
got our
her
lingo
lingo.
down. We appreciate that.
Actually, his lingo.
That is my lingo. But basically what she's saying is she crates for probably about an hour and a half now and maybe 30 minutes out of the crate. And she's looking to transition to do more crate time and more free time. My personal opinion, unless you're having an amazing experience and your puppy's not jumping, barking, pulling, biting, and you're having a really great time, is I don't think you're ready for the 1 hour out. I think I'd build a 2 hours in, 30 minutes out still. When I get to the 20-week mark or the 18-week mark and my issues are starting to go down, then I might build up to the hour. But basically what she's asking is, when can I transition? For me, it's all about
Trial
when the issues,
and error.
yes, correct. Trial and error. When the issues start depleting and start going down and you're getting more of the obedience, your puppy's looking to you more, following you more, earning things more, and I'm not getting the chewed carpet, I'm not getting jumping on the guests coming in. When I start seeing less of that, I start giving more freedom. But here's what it comes down to. Some puppies, potty-wise, they can't stay out of the crate for an hour.
Yeah.
Because at the 30, 45-minute mark, that's when, like, I gotta go. And the whole thing that we're preaching is not to take them out twice for free time. Right when they come out of the crate, that's when they get their first. And by the way, guys, anyone that wants one, DM us on Instagram. I don't think we respond to TikTok, but DM us on Instagram, and we'll send you guys a skeleton for a schedule.
Puppy schedule.
Yeah.
Puppy potty training schedule.
Yes, but ideally, every time a dog comes out of the crate, we're learning their whole time. They come out of the crate, that's when they get their potty. I don't technically want to give them an additional potty at the end of free time unless they did a ton of play, a ton of running, a lot of training, and they've moved their body as a result of what I've given them, then they might need that second potty time. But we're teaching them
Depends
how to...
on how young. I mean, if they're 8 to 12, then you take them out again.
Yeah, but we're talking 16 weeks old.
I know, I was just clarifying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
Are you done?
I lost my place. I'm just as easily distracted as the dogs that I'm watching leave their story.
I'm totally on board with everything he said, except I would just kind of backtrack and point out, he said, when you start to see behaviors, not being an issue. I'm like, well, it's a puppy. So behaviors aren't an issue as long as you're there to prevent
They're
them.
always going to be an issue, but you're working them through it and you're getting more leverage through it.
Right. So my thing would be, if someone's going to come to the door or something like that, the puppy's on leash, and you're in the moment to be able to teach them the expectations to handle a package being dropped off. Otherwise, you start adding more free time. In a month or less, you've got a little puppy barking every time the mail comes or a package is dropped off. Yeah. So you just you've got to. It's not just about the puppy. It's also about your availability and your schedule to be able to do that. Okay. I wanted to do a question on here. TikTok says, do you have any recommendations for joint supplements? I have a GSD puppy and I want to be proactive. I like Missing Link.
I do too. And
Yeah, I knew you do too.
They have a puppy, well, they have the adult formula, which works for puppies as well. They also have a mature formula if anyone has an older dog out there.
Yeah.
Another one is Cosequin. It's
Cosequin.
it's about triple the strength with glucosamine. It does have the chondroitin as well, which Missing Link also has. It doesn't have the garlic powder, which some dogs are allergic to.
Yeah.
It's such a small amount though. Like they have to be highly, highly allergic to it.
It is
but also it has one other formula that my dog has severe joint pain in her back.
Elderly
dog, 10 years old. But the vet just recently prescribed or told me to go to it or check it out simply because it has one other formula in it that's really good for dogs that are growing, adult, or mature.
Okay, cool.
I don't remember the name of it though.
So you don't remember the name
Well, there's
of it?
level 1, 2, and 3.
It's not Cosequin?
No, it's Cosequin, the formula.
Oh,
that's
but
within
it's the
Cosequin.
brand Cosequin.
Is it Cosequin or Cosequin?
Cosequin.
Cosequin?
It's one of those. Okay.
Cosequin.
All right. Cece says, I live too far from you guys to come in. Do you know of anyone that you like in South Orange County? Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe, do we? We don't. Oh, that's why you put this on here.
Kimberly's like whispering at us.
How
old is the puppy?
So Cece, so I'm supposed to say, because we are terrible marketers, because I'm like, we don't know of anyone and we don't recommend of anyone. Why is this question on here? Because Sparky and I have spent, half of our lives dedicated to puppy and dog training, and we have developed an online school. And so
that we forgot about.
that we forgot about. So Cece, no, we do not know of anyone down there. I'm sorry. But we do have an online school, and it is really thorough. It's
well,
very
we're really
thorough.
talking this up, aren't we?
So if you'd like to check that out, we cover everything from basic obedience as well as just the behavioral side of things, what to do out in the real world. It really covers a lot of different sections of puppyhood and things that you might come across. So if you'd like to check that out, go to thepuppyacademy.com and click on the online section.
It's a big old banner on top. What a lot of training programs we notice focuses on is the training itself, but they don't target the brain with any of their videos. We target the brain a lot because we talk about certain behaviorisms that puppies develop. We even talk about what can happen if they're missing on certain things and how to work towards those items.
Yeah. So hopefully, Cece, shameless plug. Hopefully you check that out, see if you like it.
Hey, she's the shameless plug.
It's her fault. You can't see her, but she's right here, and it's her fault. Okay. I'm going to do this question real quick, which was an Instagram, and then we can go through these. Okay. How much time? Oh, we're not doing bad on time. Okay. Adriana says, I have a pit husky mix. She chews through her harness. She's super hyper, greeting everyone, especially kids. I need advice on how to introduce her to my young...
Stop greeting kids.
I need to introduce her to my young nieces and nephews who play rough. I'm guessing that's humans. The humans play rough. Well, there's one problem. You're just... I knew it. But it's okay, because I'm ready.
Already.
Okay, Adriana. I don't know how old she is, but it doesn't really matter. It is not about... First, sorry to just go on. I swear I'm not going to go on a tangent. I'm just going to plant a little seed that says it's not really about everything else. You need to focus, especially hyperactivity, chewing through harness. You need to focus more on a calmer dog that has more focus and looks to you more than looking at everything else. Looking in the environment for what looks fun, what can I sniff, what can I check out, ooh, there's a person over there, ooh, there's a dog over there. If that's what your walk looks like, and if you have a dog under 1, even if you're perfect, that's what everybody's walk looks like. But what you should be doing is working on turns and stop and sit and turns and pace changes. You should be working your dog's brain and getting your dog into follower mode to focus more on you. If your dog is a pit husky mix, I'd say 5 months old or older, get with a trainer that works with maybe slip leashes. Me, if you're in the area. No. that might really help you as well, is getting that focus. You don't have to, but that's an option. I would definitely build up, not crazy excitement food drive, but I would build up a little bit of food work so you can do some calm rewards with food. And if that doesn't work for your dog, then abandon it. But then you definitely need to go head control method with a slip leash or something else. That would be what I would really, really focus on. You need to be able to go to the park and have people walk by and go, oh, what a cool dog. And you're like, sit, thanks. Or you just go, let's go, thanks. And your dog follows you rather than, oh, are they going to say hi to me? And is pulling towards that person that acknowledged their existence with softness or excitement. That's what I would really focus on with your dog first. Second, your niece, I'll just be honest, the people, the humans, no matter their age, I about said age, size, and breed.
They can be trained.
No, yeah, they can all be trained. It's not fair to, honestly, maybe an older off-leash trained dog with a lot of work. It's fair, but that's not you, okay? That's what I'm saying. Like it's so unfair for the vast majority of dogs in the world to expect them to play really well with rambunctious people. Friends, guy friends that ruin everything.
We're the worst usually.
You're the worst. And kids. You or the parents or whatever the case is have to regulate the human's energy before you can regulate the dog's. It's just not fair otherwise. There are some exceptions. Mature adult dogs with off-leash training that have been trained to watch kids run and play and be able to be in a stay. But you're nowhere near that, and you don't necessarily have to do that. I'm just saying to give you perspective that there is no way to do that. You can introduce them calmly, walking around the yard. You have your dog on leash, and the kids are walking around the yard. Maybe they say sit, or like whatever you've trained, if you have a hand motion, and you reinforce the sit with the leash if needed because your dog is too excited. Good, maybe a little pet, and when they pet your dog's going to pop up. And you're going to be there to help your dog understand the expectation for them in that moment, which is maybe a block. No, sit, be nice and calm. So you don't want to overdo it or
what you give
scare
multiplies
the kid.
by 1,000.
What you give multiplies by 1,000. Yes, that's true. But I don't mean like, what am I trying to say? I don't mean raising your voice. I mean just you're more serious because the kid is causing excitement. By serious, I don't mean raising your voice. It's just you're calm, confident, in the moment, leash guidance, that kind of thing. And that's how I would introduce kids. And then I'd teach my dog to go to a place, like a dog bed, and be able to watch the kids run around. And if they can't handle that yet, that's common. They can go back in crate or in a different room. Or the kids are regulating their energy. Because it is not fair to ask of any dog under 2, but especially, dogs that aren't prepped for this, haven't been trained for this, to be able to play beautifully and not accidentally scrape or harm another kid when they're running around. It's so important. With that being said, I'll just say something real quick. I got time. I had a Rottie growing up, and just coming out of the kennel, the Rottie would get so excited. And I was probably 12, 13, 14, 15. And I wouldn't do anything. I would just, keep my hands down, like I'm supposed to. And he would mouth. It's just excitement so hard. And he would scrape me, pretty hard. And I would try to cross my arms, and then he would grab at my pant legs. It was just excitement coming out of the kennel. And I grew up on a farm, so we didn't really use leashes outside of the kennel. So I started adding a leash, and I was old enough to be able to do that. I had already been working with animals, and I was able to do a little bit of pressure, and the dog already knew basic training and was able to settle right back down. So my point is, you can be there on leash, regulating your dog's energy, even if the kids are behaving and your dog is still being wild. That's not uncommon. That's my point. But that's why you got to be there on leash to help him understand what to do.
With head control.
Preferably with head control, yeah.
Okay.
You want to do some of these short ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, this is from TikTok questions. So we made a post which is, does your puppy whine, bark, or cry in the crate? We made a video on it. And a woman commented, Lola Mercita or Mercia, what is she What if she is never
tired
tired and never calms down and gets upset every time in crate? You have a dog that has probably pretty severe separation anxiety and crate anxiety, and I don't want to say it's normal, but it's something we see a lot. It's not your 85% of dogs. It's usually about 10-15% of dogs that have it, and it's a hump that you have to get over. So you want to start doing calm crate pattern. You want to pattern them to go in the crate, sit, be able to close the door, open it, bring them back out calmly. If they take food, awesome. But again, calm crate pattern isn't even really about food. It's just about going in there calm,
slow repetitions, repetitions over and over and over.
Open the door, pause. They try to dash out, no, close the door, and your firmness has to match their need to get out and go one above it. So which means that they might go fast and bump their little nose on the door, go back a few steps in the crate, sit or look a little bit nervous. Don't feed into it. Don't coddle them. Just open, calm, repeat. And this is all on leash, by the way. And the hardest part is that sometimes you got to do this for months. And it does take just putting them in there, covering it with the towel, which answers one of my other questions, which is it okay to put a towel on top of the crate? I always put a towel on top of our crates for whatever time frame they're in there. I'll put on a white noise machine. I'll put on a music machine. I might even put on like a friend's soundtrack off of YouTube. They got like a 10-hour soundtrack that you can literally just play throughout the whole day as your dog goes back in the crate. And anytime they come out of the crate, most of the crate issues don't revolve around being in the crate. They revolve on what you do with your dog outside of crate. I mean that when you bring your dog out of the crate, you give them freedom to run through the whole house. Why would they want to go back in the crate when they just had freedom outside of it? Why would they want to go back in the crate if I just gave them a whole bunch of kisses and love before putting them back into the crate? So minimize the amount of affection you give, maximize the amount of training you give, get them on a really tight crate schedule, structure schedule, not for potty, but for structure and for mentality. You're trying to train the brain to settle, and that comes through structure. And when anytime they're out of the crate and they're by themselves, there's no sleeping outside the crate. Anytime they go to sleep outside the crate, grab the leash, guide them back in the crate. All of their sleeping is done inside of crate. Because here's what's going to happen. They're training themselves to sleep outside a crate where they're comfortable and then to bark and go crazy inside the crate. So anytime they're out, there's no sleeping out. And eventually, just like us, we eventually get tired enough to where we're going to fall asleep wherever we are.
Yeah.
That's going to be in the crate, and that's when you kind of get over that hump, or at least you're starting to get over the hump.
He's given you a lot of specifics. Go back through and kind of listen again. But basically, it's all about your dog's time out of the crate. What does it look like? Is it mostly freedom and play with a little bit of fun food training? Because that's going to be a big issue. Your exercise needs to be focused mental work. Yes, there is a physical aspect to it, but play and freedom comes under affection. So if your, like pie chart is mostly freedom and play with toys out, or you're playing with them, or just some fun treats for 5 minutes, once or twice a day. That's all just in the affection category, not in the proper exercise category, which falls under focused work, mental work, actual learning, problem solving, things like that. That's what tires the dog out. Boundaries, all that stuff.
I got one more.
Yeah.
And it answers two questions. Okay. So this was from another video where we answered a woman's question of, I crate my puppy at night, but we do take naps together. Is that bad? This isn't about that. We made a video to answer that. A woman responded to that, commented on that video and said, my puppy is hard work. We can't leave her and she sleeps in her room. Help. You got to start somewhere. That's the biggest advice, is you just got to start crating somewhere. They can sleep in your room in a crate. I have no issue with that if they can stay quiet. They're not waking you up every hour. But that one's hard because you got to start somewhere. So start with daytime crating. Most owners that crate overnight and they don't do daytime crating, it's really, really hard for the dog to acclimate to it.
Yeah.
And that's not just when you're leaving the house. That's a negative association to crate because it means you're leaving, and that's a negative association too.
I just got to say real quick, there's going to be a lot of factors that play into this. It's crate time is more about what you're doing with your dog when they're not in crate than crate itself.
And it goes back to our previous question that we just answered, which goes over a lot of that. I know we want to give more detail, but we don't have time.
Well, we don't have time. So if your dog is under 6 months, I would definitely check out our online puppy school, which you can go to thepuppyacademy.com and click the online section, because it's going to go over so many of these things. Or just do a deep dive on mental work, mental work for puppies, problem solving, and separation anxiety.
Not only that, but we've been have a 4 p.m. session on this Wednesday, like every Wednesday for the online school.
For
We
the
have a
online
whole hour Q&A. So whereas this is 30 minutes to answer 10 questions, we tend to get like maybe 5 to 10 questions for the hour, and sometimes we'll spend 30 minutes answering this question because knowing it's going to help everyone else and answer more questions.
Yeah.
The final question was, how do you know when a puppy needs to go? Most of the time it's from the schedule. So
It's schedule-based.
they're not choosing when they go. You're training them to learn bladder control and hold it longer, just like you would for a child.
And
Children-
training them that they will get tons of opportunities to go to the potty or
Yes.
go outside.
In a
It's the
controlled
same-
factor.
So similar to kids.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have a great week,
Thanks
and
for
we'll
joining
see
us.
you same time, same place.
And if you join the online school, we'll see you at 4. Okay, guys. Take care. Bye. Awkward smile time.